HOA ordered me to move my boat, didn't know I owned the whole lake, and shut down their picnic. The summer sun beat down on Lake Karen, its glassy surface reflecting the fury of the day. I stood on the dock, my fishing boat bobbing gently, when Margaret, the HOA president, stormed toward me, her clipboard clutched like a weapon. Her face was a storm cloud, her voice sharp enough to slice through the humid air. "Move your boat, Tom. It's an eyesore, and it's ruining our annual picnic." Behind her, a gaggle of HOA members nodded, their picnic tables adorned with checkered cloths and trays of sandwiches. I leaned against the boat, arms crossed, a slow grin creeping across my face. They had no idea who they were dealing with. For years, I'd kept to myself, a quiet widower who'd bought this lake and the surrounding land after my wife, Clara, passed. The deed was mine, every inch of it, but I'd never flaunted it. I let the HOA hold their little picnics, their kids splashing in the shallows, because Clara always believed in community, in sharing. But Margaret's tone, her smug demand lit a fuse I didn't know I had. "Margaret," I said, voice low, "this boat stays, and so do I." Her eyes narrowed, and the crowd behind her murmured, sensing a showdown. The argument escalated fast. Margaret waved her clipboard, citing HOA regulations I'd never agreed to. Her husband, Carl, a burly man with a red face, chimed in, "You're just a stubborn old man, Tom. Move it, or we'll move it for you." The threat hung heavy, and I felt the weight of every eye on my neighbors I'd waved to, shared coffee with, now staring like I was the enemy. My chest tightened, but I held my ground. "You don't get it, do you?" I said, pulling a folded paper from my pocket, the deed to Lake Karen. "I own this lake, every drop, and I say the picnic's over." Gasps rippled through the crowd. Margaret's face paled, but she doubled down. "You can't just shut us out. This is our community." Her voice cracked, and for a moment, I saw fear behind her bravado. The HOA had ruled this neighborhood like petty royalty, enforcing their rules with fines and glares. Now their power was crumbling, and they hated me for it. Carl stepped forward, fists clenched, and I braced myself, wondering if this would turn physical. But then, a new voice cut through the tension. "Stop it, all of you." It was Sarah, the shy librarian who lived down the street. She'd always been a ghost at these events, never speaking up. Now, she stood between us, her hands trembling but her voice steady. "Tom's right. I found the records at the library. He bought this land years ago, fair and square. But Margaret, you've been lying about the HOA's authority, haven't you? You knew he owned it." The crowd turned to Margaret, whose silence was deafening. Sarah's revelation was a twist none of us saw coming. She'd been quietly digging into the HOA's shady dealings, uncovering their overreach. The picnic dissolved into chaos. Neighbors shouted, some at me, some at Margaret. Kids cried as parents packed up their coolers, shooting me dirty looks. I stood by my boat, the deed in hand, feeling no triumph, only a hollow ache. I didn't want this fight. I just wanted my quiet life back, the one Clara and I had dreamed of by this lake. But Margaret's arrogance, the HOA's entitlement, had pushed me too far. I called my lawyer, who arrived within the hour, confirming my rights. By sunset, the picnic was gone, the shore empty except for my boat and a single forgotten sandwich plate. As I sat on the dock, watching the stars emerge, Sarah approached, her eyes soft with empathy. "I'm sorry about Clara," she said quietly. "I remember how she loved this lake." Her words hit like a punch. I'd forgotten how Sarah used to visit Clara, bringing books to cheer her during her illness. In my anger, I'd lost sight of what Clara stood for: kindness, not vengeance. I looked out at the water, my victory bitter. Had I honored her memory, or just fed my pride? The next day, I posted a notice. The lake was open to all, but the HOA's reign was done. Margaret resigned, humiliated, and the neighborhood buzzed with gossip. Some thanked me, others avoided my gaze. Sarah started a new community group, one built on fairness, not control. But as I sat by the lake, I couldn't shake the weight of that day. I'd won, but at what cost? Clara's dream was community, not division, and I'd turned her lake into a battleground. In the end, the lake was mine, but so was the loneliness. I'd shut down their picnic, exposed their lies, but the silence on the water felt like a rebuke. Clara would have found another kinder way. I looked at my boat, still bobbing in the moonlight, and wondered if I'd been the villain after all. What do you think? Who was right, who was wrong, and what does justice mean in a community torn apart by pride?